Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by for another video. Just wanted to do an update on my Set 5 Qui Gon green deck. A lot of people seem to really like it, so changed a couple things up, get a little bit more value in here, and been having a little bit more success with this, so I figured I'd share. Just wanted to say thanks again for all your support, and definitely would appreciate any likes and subscriptions if you feel like it, by all means. It certainly would help out quite a bit. So I just wanted to say thanks for all your support and just wanted to dive in here real quick. We'll take a look at the updates. So we're sticking with the Qui Gon leader, of course. And in case you're not familiar, he's got the ability of action, use the Force. Return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. You may play a non-villainy unit that costs less than the return unit's cost from your hand for free. So what are we trying to do here? We want to get as much value out of our leader as we possibly can, which means we're going to need the force to be able to use our leader. So in the beginning of the game, we've got a bunch of force units. We've got some non-force units as well here too, but I'm just going to go through one at a time. And we'll just go over the different cards in here. Let's start off with, we've got the 2-cost Anakin Pilot. Just have one of because I wanted to get 10 2-drops in here total, just so that we're pretty much guaranteed to have something on turn 1. And the main reason we want to do this is because it does have the force attribute, and it's a 2/3, so it's not terrible. Gunji is amazing in here for our 2-drop. 7 points of stats is always hard to beat. The Luke Skywalker pilot is fantastic because not only can we put him on a pilot later on, if that ship gets defeated, it'll come back on the ground, or we can just play it as a 2-cost 3/2 on the ground, which is fine as well. The Youngling Padawan is just a quick way for us to get the Force, 2-cost, and that's going to give us the Force if we use our Qui-Gon, return something, and then replay the Youngling Padawan later. Just another way to enable the Force other than attacking with the Starlight Temple that we've got. Sneak attack, peanut butter and jelly with Qui-Gon. We want to get big units into play as quickly as we can. This is a good way to sneak something into play, attack with it, bounce it back to our hand, and then replay something that costs less. My dream scenario is the Yoda unit. The dream is to sneak attack Yoda into play. When played, we use the Force, we heal 5, and then we can also deal double the amount of units and damage to something at the same time with this. We then attack, use Qui-Gon, return Yoda back to hand, play Keller and Beck. Keller and Beck lets us put something else into play. So that's my dream scenario with sneak attack. It seldom happens, but occasionally you will get it, and it's going to feel awesome when you do. Blue Leader is awesome because it can either be a 3-cost 3/3, or we can play it for 3 and pay the 2 extra to give it ambush, and it becomes a 5/5. So just another way to use our resources here. I put 2 copies of the Millennium Falcon in here. It's just it comes in a play ready, so it's really hard to beat. It's a 3/4 in space, and this can also return back to our hand as well. Sometimes we want that so that we can utilize returning a 4-drop, putting a 3-drop into play. This one enters play ready, so it works out great. The Obi-Wan unit is awesome. The Sentinel, whenever you play another Force unit after it loses Sentinel, it'll get it again. So it's proven to be a very difficult unit to deal with, and I really like it. One of the other new additions is the Vernestra Row, and it's for a similar reason as the Falcon here, where we can have the center play ready if we use the Force, and we've got a 3/4 that's ready on the ground. Just adds another level to this. We do run 3 General's Blade in here now. We're really embracing the cheating a unit into play aspect of this deck so that Qui-Gon can really get the extra value off of this. The first turn that you played, it's not as impressive because you're going to play a 2-drop, but after that, it's going to make the next unit we cost 3 less, as long as we've got this attached to a Jedi, which we're most likely going to have. And then we can play something just really big after that. The Ahsoka Tano is fantastic as our opponent's going to discard a card, and we're going to make them exhaust something if they also discard a unit off this ability. The Bright Hope is a good way to clog up space a little bit, as space isn't our primary game plan. It's also a good way for us to return something like the Falcon or the Vernestra Row back to our hand, let us draw an extra card, and then we can get some value off of either returning the Bright Hope and replaying the Vernestra or the Falcon again, and getting in for immediate damage since we can play either of them ready. Usually the Vernestra Row. Generally this deck will have the Force pretty often. The Poe Dameron pilot unit here is good because it generates an X-Wing, and it allows us to move the Poe from the ground to a space unit if we want. Otherwise, we can make the X-Wing and keep the Poe in play as a 3/3, which is nice. It's a 2-for-1. It's the best 2-for-1 that I could find. I'm still keeping the one Leia in here as a sneak attack target because, as I stated in the previous version of this video, or the previous version of this deck anyway, if we sneak attack the Leia into play, she's going to enter play ready, and it will allow us to use the Force right away, where we can immediately move her to the ground, give herself +2/+2 and all the other units +2/+2, which is pretty cool. This one doesn't happen a ton, and I didn't want to include a lot of copies because if you don't sneak attack it, there's no point in playing this card. So it's not a good card. The only time it's playable is with sneak attack. Plo Koon, 5 cost, 3/6 with ambush, and if you have coordinate, which 90% of the time we do with this deck, it gets raid 3. So we're generally attacking for 6 the turn this comes into play. Very effective for 5 resources. Definitely love that card in this deck for sure. Similarly, we've got a Depo Blaba. We're not getting as much as far as the attack goes, but the defense we get a little bit more. We still get the ambush, but this also has Saboteur, so we can get through a sneaky Sentinel if we need to. I did cut the General Rykans down to 1. I still think it's fantastic. Even if we just get the on play, we can give Rykan himself Sentinel, or we can give something else Sentinel, and then we can just return him back to hand later on if we need to, and then replace something like the Plo Koon or the Leia or whatever we have. Just one thing to note is Qui Gon's ability allows you to play something that costs 1 or less. So we can return a 6 cost unit and play a 4-drop if we want with the Qui Gon ability. Kelleran Beck, I upped it to 3 because I think this is just, really what we're looking to do. We want to get the Kelleran into play so that we can get something else. And then if we return the Kelleran back to hand, now we can put something that's 6 or less into play, which is 80% of our deck. So it's pretty good. And then it allows us to replay the Kelleran back the following turn and get another unit from our deck. So it's pretty awesome. Decided to go with 3 U-wing reinforcements here just because, similarly to sneak attack, this is going to allow us to put a bunch of units into play at once. And it's been testing pretty well for me so far. Really like it a lot. The home 1 is pretty hard to beat with the Restore 2. Lets us return something that costs at least 3. We can pay more, I believe, with this. Yep. So it costs 3 less. So if we have more resources, we can return something bigger. Redemption, I kept that in here. It's out of aspect. However, it does give us a chance to play it. We could technically play it off the Kelleran. It's unlikely, but still dropping it in for 9 isn't terrible. Healing up our base a lot, returning it back with Qui-Gon, putting something that costs 7 or less into play, and then being able to redeploy the redemption. It's just a consistent way to potentially heal up to 8 points off of our base every turn, which seems pretty great. I didn't want to include a lot of copies of this, but it's still awesome, even at 10. And lastly, we've got the Yoda, 8 cost, 5/9 force unit, and the when played is nice because it lets us get 5 health back, and also when you use the force, you get to deal damage equal to twice the number of units that we've got in play, and damage to a unit. So that's always very handy. And then being able to bounce it back with Qui Gon and then replay it later, it's just a value machine. Getting that 5 heal and being able to shoot something with Yoda's ability is pretty fantastic. Overall, I'm very happy with the updates. I know in the last video I did mention that I would like to put in the Leia's. I just can't really find room. If she was a force unit, I definitely would put her in there. But it's just, I'd rather keep it as a sideboard card for the really aggro decks where we really just need a little extra time. Hot shots are still an open slot. It's just another way to finish some, get some extra damage in. Same thing with the guerrilla soldiers. I consider that more of a mid-range game plan. And then the Will of the Force is just a nice way to bounce something and make them discard, especially if they're down to just 1 card or 0 cards. We make them return something and it's gone after they discard, essentially. And that is the version 2 of Qui Gon, and it's been performing a lot better for me. So if you tried the version 1 and you weren't thrilled with it, definitely give this one a try. It's been pretty great for me so far. Definitely winning more, and yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to say thanks again for the support. Please like and subscribe. Definitely helps out quite a bit. And just want to say thanks again for all your support. Hope that you have a great rest of your day. May the force be with you. Take care.